also running Hollow Knight right after. I'm glad to be your runner for the next couple of hours. Let's talk about this category in the game. Deltarune. Most everyone knows Deltarune. It's a game released in 2018 by Toby Fox. It's a choice-based RPG, kind of similar to Undertale. It has the same sort of overworld. It has a slightly different combat, but it's still turn-based combat. And Chapter 2 was actually released just a couple months ago in September last year. And there's been a couple patches since then. And actually, Chapter 1 and 2 is still just a demo, and Chapters 3 through 7 are slated to release at a later date, so keep an eye out for that. About the category, today I'll be running the Snowgrave route, Glitchless, which is a bit of a different route from the main route. There's different boss fights, a bit of different dialogue that we'll mainly be skipping, and we'll be doing some interesting things halfway through that you don't usually see in the main route. Okay, so let's make a file, and as we heard in the last segment, the Worms segment from Ruffled Bricks, we got a little bit of a name that we want to use. We're going to be naming this file Agent Dennis. You saw Agent Dennis earlier, one of the Worms on the enemy team. So we'll be using this file name for today, and we'll be starting when I select yes on here, and let's do that. 3, 2, 1, and go. So starting off, we usually go to school, go into the dark world, the closet, right, and then we leave, go to the library. We skip all of that. In a patch, they added a thing called bed skip, where after Toriel talks to you, takes away the knife, Chris just gets out of bed, and we go immediately back into bed, and we go to the Dark World. This is in Chapter 1 as well. This was added in an update to Chapter 2. You saw me take off amber cards from Chris. That decreases their defense a little bit, which will be useful, hopefully, in a trick later on in the run. And we go here, we see Noelle, hello. She gets captured, and we see the Queen, who is laughing very obnoxiously, floating up from the background. Real quick, let's talk about the input display I have in the top left. This input display, you'll see that I'm holding Shift and Control most of the time. I'm holding these actually with sticky keys. What this does is it makes dialogue advance faster, and it also makes you sprint in the overworld, which is very nice. So our first fight, double weird wires. What we do, we have a little bit of menuing here. In this run, especially in Glitchless, the menuing speed is very important. The faster you menu, the faster the fights go. Sometimes there will be a little frame drops. I'm sorry, I really can't do anything about that. Running on a bad computer is not great. Alright, and that's the first battle done. The menuing in this game is very, very, very important. The top 3 runners for this category are Ubercat, Shay, and me. And of the 3 of us, I feel like I have the best menuing, which is something to say. Alright, so we got a little bit of bad RNG, so we're just going to do this normally here. There is a strat for if you get good RNG, however, I did not get the good RNG, so we'll just be doing the first mini-boss normally. That's all that means. Alright, so we're into Cyber Field. It says Cyber World. We are into the main part of Cyber World here. A little bit of plot. So the Cyber World exists in the library that I mentioned earlier, and the Queen is the ruler of this Cyber World, and basically there was a dark fountain that was spawned, similar to in Chapter 1, the near, I'll say, Dark Castle, which has the big dark fountain. And we have to go seal it because we don't want to upset the balance of light and dark. Alright, and we see the Queen again. We'll be seeing her about 3 more times this run, if I remember correctly. Here we have our first little mini-game, actually, that we have here. By the way, if you've noticed, we've been skipping all the fights. This will be important later on. See this arcade machine? This is what the Queen is going to challenge us with. We have a little bit of something that we need to do. And this will be... we are going to be using this arcade machine to fight the Queen. It'll be a little different, and Chris can't reach and is too weak, so we stand on I'll say, have Susie help with power, and we get sent into a bit of a Punch-Out minigame. First time you see this, you're like, what is this, and why is there a Punch-Out in Deltarune? It's so much fun, though, and the first time I saw this, I was like, this is so cool. In the main route, you'll see this later on as well, in a different form, but in this route, this is the last time you'll see something Punch-Out-esque. Take a little bit of damage to do this a little bit faster. Optimally, you will get a 73 here. I did it a little bit suboptimally, so we get a 72 instead. Just still plenty fast. And we advance the text there, and we walk to the right. Here you'll see this warp door, which is very useful in glitched runs, but not really useful in glitchless Snowgrave. We go right here, we see this puzzle, which is solved, and we just do this. Agree to all. What this does, we agree to a contract that will put us in the Queen's army, which we never get put in the Queen's army. That actually never happens, by the way, spoilers. By the way, spoilers for this run, this has major plot points of Deltarune, if you didn't know that already. We go up here, and we're going to travel over to the right to our first little mini-boss in this run. This is where we the fact that we took off the amber cards would matter if we got good RNG, but we did not get good RNG, so that doesn't really matter. You also saw me mashing text earlier. This game has an auto masher, which turns on if you hold Control or C, and that goes at 15 text boxes per second. Manual mashing can go up to 30, fun fact, and going up to 30 is a bit faster, but you're not going to be mashing at 30 the entire run. Alright, and we are in the Sweet Cap and Cakes fight. So what we want to do here is we want to dance with Chris and then attack Sweet. What this will do is make us do this fight the fastest with the bad RNG. If we had good RNG, we would be taking damage to try to get Chris killed, because there is a strat that makes it actually faster to kill Chris. Without it, this is the safest and fastest way to do so. And because each turn you deal enough damage for, I think that's Cap'n to heal Sweet. And then we just dance with all of them, get them all dancing at once, and that is the clear requirement for this fight. You can actually defeat them. Alright, so this is the first mini-boss done. We have a little bit of a menuing segment after this. Let me talk about the update history of this game a little bit. So this game released in September of last year. It got a couple updates since then. Specifically, version 1.05 is important. Version 1.05, it changed a couple things. It made a glitch in the final boss of this route, of the Snowgrave route, a little bit different, a little bit more difficult if you decide to abuse a glitch. It also made wrong warps, a different glitch, possible, but only if you hold buttons. Alright. You saw a little bit of menuing there, I messed it up a little bit, but that's fine. A lot of the menuing in this, a lot of this game is menuing, and a lot of this run is menuing. If you lose a little bit of time to menuing, that's time loss. You see, it just perfectly skipped that. That was actually pretty good. You'll get this key hit with an arrow. And that gets us to up here, these teacups, which lead us to the second boss fight of this run. The second mini-boss of this run. We don't need to get all these, but the orbs make us go faster. If you get all of them, there's an item that you can get. We're going to be skipping this item. I think main route gets it, but Snowgrave does not. We walk into this little contraption. This has the Queen's face on it, as does everything in this world. And we see rails, and of course that means we are going to be put on little go-kart roller coaster things. The Queen, of course, cheating on her floating chair throne with a jet on it. We see Noelle on her cute ice skating, or ice skate roller coaster jet bumper cart. Gonna mash a little bit to advance the choicer. We see Falco. This is not Falco, this is Birdly, who is also from the Light World, so like Susie and Chris are. What we do here, we're just gonna defeat Birdly. Birdly got sucked into this all. Didn't really do anything, so we're just gonna beat him and leave him be. For now. We're gonna attack, attack, attack. This gives us some TP. We only need like 70 for the last turn, but we'll get plenty. More damage, and then we pacify, and that is Birdly done. His go-kart crashes, and we go and complete the split. We have a bit of a long cutscene coming here, so if we have any donations, then that would be a great time to read those.
Alright, thank you very much. I would like to use this opportunity to remind everyone that Indiethon is sponsored by Team 17 as well as Chucklefish. And one of the things that they helped Indiethon out with is, for instance, with prizes, which include, for instance, a mega game pack, which requires a minimum donation of $30. That set pack is provided by Team 17. This includes games like Blasphemous, Greek Memories of Azure, Nauser Boy, Neon Abyss, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. You might actually have seen some of these games trailers, like during the intermission of the marathon. They're all amazing games, and for $30 you can potentially enter the raffle to potentially win such prizes, and it's all going towards a great cause. So definitely get your donations in, and maybe we can reach, maybe, you know, get closer and closer to $1,000. You know, we're already past 700, so let's see how things will go.
Yeah, let's see how those will go. Story-wise, we're going through the Cyber City now. We see Noelle, we chase her. We split up with Susie and Chris, and we see Queen again here. And we see Birdly again, who somehow survived that crash. And this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. But we'll get to that. Noelle asks us if she can join our party. We say yes, and we immediately backtrack. We go into this fight, and we freeze them to death, and they will be there for eternity. And we go back through these cars again. If we can go through here without losing speed, that's optimal. However, we missed it a couple times, that's fine. Take us a little bit as a safety heal. You notice, by the way, we backtracked and hit an encounter that was not forced. That's the first time we've done that this run, and we'll be doing that a lot in the next, like, about 10 minutes. We'll be doing that a lot. We will be going back and ice-shocking every single enemy that we have back here. There's a couple more over here, and we'll do that. And this is where differences in menuing speed really come into play. The faster you menu, the more time you save, the more speedy your runs will be. However, if you mess up, that's major time loss, and if you mess up bad enough, and it can actually kick you off of the Snowgrave route, and you won't be able to complete the run, and it'll be a complete reset. That is a real possibility for today, and I do not have a backup file, which is a bit scary, but we'll go with it. By the way, back there, if you went up left, there was a little hidden door that would get you to Spamton, who is a vendor in this game. We'll be seeing him later on. Let me just say that. And now, oh, the cars are gone, replaced with enemies. So, of course, we're going to run into them and freeze them again. And if you haven't noticed already, all these enemies are based on real-life tech. We see this task here, of course, tasks based on the task that you see in Task Manager on computers. There's an enemy that'll come up later on called the Task Manager, which is, of course, based on the Windows Task Manager. The first enemy is the rear wires, based on an electrical socket, an outlet, and a plug. You see those all the time. There's the Virokons, which are computer viruses, pop-ups, which are similar, but they're just pop-ups. You'll see a lot of those. Of course, the mouse puzzle, simple, always the same, and we see this fight, which we'll be doing something a bit different for. We're going to be attacking first, and then we'll freeze them. If we get this frame-perfect crit, which we did, then we can get a 3-turn here. And if not, it becomes a 4-turn where we lose like 10 seconds. But we did get it, so we can do that. We take a bit of a detour to the left. We get the, if I remember correctly, it's the pink ribbon. And the pink ribbon will help us later on in the run, not immediately useful. No, it's a little bit low HP, that's a little scary, but we'll live. Hopefully. We'll Ice Shock again to kill off all of these. Alright, so I said earlier that I'm one of 3 top runners for this category. The 2 other runners are Ubercat and Shay. I think Uber has a 33... It's either Uber or Shay, I don't remember their placements. One of them has a 3346. I have a 3359 PB. This one attack is a 3-frame window. We hit the 1 frame anyways, just to show off. And their runs are a lot better, and they're a lot more skilled than I am. They run glitched, they run main route, I run Snowgrave Glitchless exclusively. And here we see this one who sells us a ring for specifically $1 dark dollar more than we have on us. So what do? We can't buy it, so we freeze them and we steal it, as any normal person would do, right? Nope. You have to equip that. Come over here. Noel says that she considered stepping off of the button and killing us. And we're like, yeah, that's normal. Alright. And we put on the ring, and now you'll notice Ice Shock does a lot more damage. Like 1.5 times more damage, believe it or not. And we will be one-shotting like every single enemy with it for a little while here. Even these tasks will be taken out in one hit. We got a little bit of bad RNG there, but not a big deal. This is like maybe a second. We go down. We keep committing genocide. We kill every single enemy. Over here we have these Virokons. Virokons, of course, the modern computer virus that will just take over your computer and probably put some like ransomware on it. Alright. Let me just talk. I just want to say something, by the way. I just want to take this chance to say that something that I love about this game is Chris is non-binary. They go by they, them. And I love that as someone who's non-binary themselves. We have 3 ambulances here. I don't really know the source for these, but the source material. I think they're like defender programs like you'd see with Norton. If I were to give an example. I think that's what they're based off since they defeat viruses, but I'm not 100% certain on this. A Vero, a Task, and a Vero. We get good RNG here first. We're gonna be grazing these as much as possible. Something I forgot to mention. Grazing. You'll see I'm trying to stay close to every single attack as possible, and you'll see the white outline come up every single time. Let's actually look at this cutscene. We have a puzzle. We're just like, we're gonna proceed. We're gonna proceed. We're gonna proceed. We're gonna proceed one more time and push Noelle into the barrier. She gets cornered and she freezes the entire puzzle. We don't have to solve it! Amazing. So, grazing. Like I was saying before, grazing is important in this game. It's even in the blurb that you look at when you get this game. Grazing, you'll see on the left the TP goes up pretty quickly when you graze. And what's also important, and more important for speedruns, is that each graze saves 1 frame. Each time you graze an attack, it saves 1 frame, and each 30 frames that you've additionally been grazing those attacks, we freeze this puzzle, by the way, we don't even look at it. You save an extra frame for every 30 frames that you graze, additionally. So we want to be grazing as much as possible. And task attacks are amazing for that if they give you the right RNG, because you can graze like each of those 25 times like each attack, and that saves like almost a second. Which is honestly pretty big in a run where there's so much dialogue and so really little that can go wrong in terms of like outside of big-ish mistakes like taking extra turns. We're backtracking, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We're backtracking right now. There's a little moss right here that we have to kill. Gonna ice shock all 3 of these. Luckily we don't have to deal with the notorious moss wheel in Snowgrave. Moss wheel, known for being hard to turn, and pretty much RNG. But luckily we take out these and we don't have to deal with them ever in this run again. Which is very nice. So, we've killed every single enemy in this segment of the game. So we backtrack, we go down here, and there's a little wall. We just go through that. It's like probably like an overpass or something. Go over here. If you know this game, you know that there's a dumpster here. There's a dumpster here, and we talk to this dumpster, and we get a new power-up that we'll be putting on pretty soon here, like right now. It's called Thorn Ring, and we're going to be putting on Noelle. And what it does is it gives us a new spell that we can use. It decreases the cost of every spell by half. Every spell that we cast by half. So, Ice Shock, which we've been using for 16 TP, is now usable for 8. And that new spell, Snowgrave, is usable for 200, and now it's usable for 100 instead, and that's important because we need to use it here. We see Birdly again. We say that we're trying to get stronger, and he's like, I'm not going to let you be stronger. So we're going to be stronger. By the way, the Thorn Ring takes out HP. It drains her HP, which is scary. And we cast Snowgrave. It takes all our TP. Cast a spell that we don't know. And the namesake for this run, Snowgrave. Birdly can't do anything. Frozen in shock. Frozen in shock. Physically frozen in shock. We're going to be sending him over to Snowdon Town for a little bit of a vacation. Hopefully we'll be seeing him again by the end of the game. But for now, he's going to be gone. Off in a little bit of a snowy land. Noelle says she's feeling not good and she's gonna go home and go maybe get a little bit of rest. Hopefully she'll be feeling better later, and we'll see her later on in the run as well. It's fine, we don't need her. We can beat the game without her, that's completely fine. We saw a little pop-up over there, frozen, in time, never to move again. And we go into the mansion here. There's a little manhole because we can't go right. We go straight to the mansion. I'm looking at my splits right now, and that Snowgrave is actually a gold. Amazing. Go over to the mansion. There's a big, long red carpet that we presumably walk on. Man, the Queen's Mansion is in a bit of an odd state right now. We'll be walking through here. But for some reason, there's a bit of a minor glitch, that exploit that we use. If we open the menu, the moss wheel just goes at half speed. And then we have basically the final boss, the Peepee's Maze. Each one of these that we hit loses us 8 seconds. And it is hard to not hit these. Each one of these loses time, and we have to just eat that. And if we get bad placement, like bad sub-pixel placement, then there's not really anything that we can do. We just have to eat it. That'll not work. I thought that would work, really? Huh. Optimally, you want to go through this maze taking no damage at all, not hitting a single one of these. But that's difficult, so we hit 4. Loses half a minute. And in a run this short with this much menuing, and just menuing basically, that's a lot of time loss. So that hurts a little bit. So we're gonna keep going. Dodge these perfectly. Just barely outrunning it. And we see what we said earlier, a task manager. We roar and then we pacify, and that'll just be the end of the fight. Very simple fight. Chris at low HP. That's fine. We pacify, and that's that. And we go on these teacup ride, and we just do nothing. If we have something else to read off, this would be a great time to do that.
Absolutely, indeed. I would like to remind everyone that Indiethon is raising money towards Child's Play. In addition to helping hospitals, they have provided over 200 games kits to domestic violence shelters all over the United States through their domestic violence program. These kits come with a fully loaded Xbox One with environment-appropriate games and are designed to create an inviting environment for young survivors of domestic violence. And you can learn more about their domestic abuse program on their website. So definitely, it's definitely a great cause that everyone has been donating towards during this first day of Indiethon. And hopefully we can keep it going strongly.
Absolutely. Raising money for a great cause. Go check them out. And now we're heading into the end game of this run. We'll see Chris at 2 health, a little bit scary, but there's a save point we can heal. It will be completely fine. We see we're on the roof of the Queen's Mansion, and we see the Queen over here contemplating her life and talking about how we're getting into a little bit of plot details here. The knight basically can create dark fountains, and the thing is, Chris, Susie, Noelle, Birdly, they can all be knights and create fountains. So the Queen's trying to get Noelle to do that for her. However, here Valse says, no, making a fountain will destroy the balance of light and dark, and that will destroy your world. And the Queen is like, oh, okay, I'll stop then. Which is not what villains usually do when they hear that. They're like, yes, perfect. In the main route, this would be where Birdly would try to create one, Falco would try to create a dark fountain, and then Ralsei is like, no, and there's an entire 2-minute long cutscenes. Luckily in Snowgrave we don't have to watch that. Alright, and we're getting into the final boss here, which is very, very fun and difficult. go to the Dark Fountain. Chris goes to the Dark Fountain to seal the fountain. You feel the determination in your body. Not. This is the final boss fight. We saw Spamton earlier, and we're going to be fighting Spamton Neo. I'll be focusing a little bit, because this is a difficult fight. And what we want to do is we want to graze as much as possible. This is where the pink ribbon comes in handy. And use X/ over and over and over until we finish the fight. Just deal as much damage as possible. These attacks are completely fine. This is fine. We graze as much as possible. Here we use a little bit of an exploit that's patched in. This is the glitch that I was mentioning that makes the boss very, very difficult. There was a patch that made it so that he does about triple damage when you use this. And this is the most annoying attack and the scariest one. I've lost many runs to this attack. And you just graze the face as much as possible. No damage, amazing. This is like actually really good. Destroy the mouth. We graze these. Of course, every graze makes the fight slightly shorter. We attack once to do a little bit of damage, a little bit of HP. Trying to get the HP down to the right number. And we died. A death there hurts. The run's basically not PBable anymore. But we'll keep going. This is a hard fight. I was expecting this to happen. The ESD will be completely fine. I expected to die at least once here. We do the same thing, try to graze. There is a button. You can press F1 to heal, and that heals you about 80 health. Useful as a one-time heal. And that's the one heal that we get this entire run. We don't use any healing items or collect any healing items. We just X/ and X/ and X/ and X/, and that's all we do in this fight. It also doesn't take a turn, which is nice. A little bit of trivia. Apparently these PPs are based on the eggs of a similarly named enemy in, I think, Mega Man 4? Was it? A little bit of trivia for those of you that want to know a bit of trivia about the origins of PPs. Phase attack, once again, do that. Hopefully don't take damage this time. Amazing. Attack once, you don't have to do much damage here. You just have to get an attack, because an X/ will do too much damage and send him into the next phase. This will send him into the next phase, and we'll be doing this, defeating the heart, or not. We defeated the heart, and then died. Why am I so bad at that attack today? Huh. All fine, all fine. We were still within EST. Just barely, but still within EST. Alright. By the way, if people do want to join the speedrun community for this game, if you want to speedrun this game, if you have this game, it's free, by the way, on Toby Fox's website. I think it's on Undertale.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, or don't. I don't know if you know that. But, it's a free game. You can play it on PC or Switch, or I think it's on PS4 now, PS5 as well, PS Store. But it's a free game. Check it out. If you're interested in speedrunning this game, there's a Discord server for this. It's found on the SRC page for Deltarune. It's on https speedrun.com. I'm gonna take damage there. Speedrun.com. There's the F1 heal / Deltarune. So check that out if you're interested. Let's see. There's a bunch of different categories for this game. There's this route, the Snowgrave route, there's main route, and there's also all bosses. And there's runs for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So, whatever floats your boat. In the meantime, I'll be finishing this run. We just finished the hard part of the fight, and we just have to graze a little bit. act over and over, call for help, call for help, call for help, call for help. Spamton's like, no one's gonna come to help you. You are a bad person. And I would be inclined to agree. And then we call for Noelle, and it's like, ha! Noelle's not gonna come help. And then we do this, and we send Spamton a little bit of a vacation card, a one-way trip over to Snowdon, over with your good old friend, Falco. And that's basically the end of the run. We have about 5 minutes of cutscene, and that's about it. Whew. 2 deaths, what's that to Spamton? 2 deaths to Spamton, 1 bad DJs. That was fine. Honestly, this is pretty good for, I'm happy with this for a marathon run. See Birdly here, by the way, not waking up. We'll leave him alone for a little bit, maybe a couple hours, maybe he'll wake up from his little nap. Daydreaming about a snowy winter wonderland. We do seal a dark fountain. The library, I don't know how he got to the library, literally just fell asleep. But then Susie's like, let's go home. By the way, this is not a library. I mispronounced that. That is a library. If you read the sign. You go back home. Susie's like, okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And Toriel, our mom, is like, hey, you should stay the night. And Susie says, sure, I'll stay the night with my friend Chris here. About that Spamton fight, we didn't do it first try, but we did get a 9-turn Spamton, which is the fastest that you can realistically get in a speedrun, which is good. Yeah. And Chris is here, turns on the faucet, opens the cabinet under. Before they open the cabinet, they, of course, punch their heart and pull it out of their body. And then they throw it into the cabinet. Just a day's work. Not abnormal at all or anything. It's pretty abnormal. I can't say it's pretty normal. Don't try this at home, okay? You will die. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, this was a pretty good run for a marathon. It could have been faster, but I'm not mad about it. This is my first English marathon. I've been a Japanese one before, but my first English marathon. I'm glad that I was able to participate in Indiethon. The run's not done yet. There's just basically cutscenes, so I'm just kind of wrapping things up a little bit early. We see Susie and Toriel talking about, Chris is a little late. By the way, they jumped out the window. That was a pretty long fall. Are they okay? They seem okay. I think they're okay. I would not be okay after that fall. I would probably be writhing on the floor in pain. But Chris is strong and fine. And they're over to get their heart back from the cabinet. Gonna wash their hands real quick. And Susie and Toriel don't notice because Chris kept the faucet on, and the faucet noise, of course, masks all other noise that could possibly be made. We're about a minute 30 from time, so a little bit of prep for that. Toriel says, you should stay here for the night. It's dangerous outside. And Susie's like, oh, heck yeah. I get to spend the night with my friend. And they're just gonna lounge and watch TV for a little bit. There's a couple choices here. A couple choices that I have to make, which I'm just gonna hold left and mash Z and Enter for. There's the greater than 15 text boxes per second mashing that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, thank you all for watching this run. I'll be running right after, there's a choice here that I forgot to make. I'll be running right after this with Hollow Knight, an item randomizer lockout bingo race with Staxis, commentated by Quacksilver and Palm. And if you want to see some more Deltarune action, someone that I mentioned earlier, Shay, is actually going to be running Deltarune main route glitched at Amazing Games Done Quick, AGDQ. That'll be around, last time I checked, around 10:34 p.m. EST. By the way, time is now. Time.
GG's.
GG's. That was a 38:32 on my timer. I don't know what it is on stream, but yeah. If you want more Deltarune, check out GDQ in a few hours. And We'll be going on break for a little bit on intermission here on stream, but I'll be right back after with more Hollow Knight running. But
yes, indeed. Yeah,
this
we'll be
was
right back.
Deltarune. Yeah, this was Deltarune, and I'll leave you all with this cutscene if you all want to watch this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be right back.